Oh, also, Fox News was talking about our boys.
Look, if Green Day, if Kneecap, which is a band I've never even heard of, if they want to be for the Palestinian people, then they should.
Why is America's worst swimmer, America's most fifth place swimmer, talking about this? Like, why is she?
Coming
That's
up,
Riley Gaines, right?
Anti-Israel message of hate displayed on a massive screen at the Coachella Music Festival to a round of cheers. Stay with us. So hate took center stage.
Man, I wish I would get some of the smoke too, man. I'm kind of jealous right now.
At the Coachella Music Festival. It happened during a set from the Irish band Kneecap on Friday night, second to last night of Passover. First, the band projected this message for all to see. Israel is committing genocide, they wrote, against the Palestinian people. And they then changed the backdrop to one attacking the U.S. And lastly, they projected this.
I like that they show this stuff. This is like when this is similar to when Fox News was writing articles about how I said like Hamas is a far less evil force than Israel is. Like when they put that on there, I'm like, yeah, I stand by that. You know what I mean? Like, that's great. Thank you. Thank you for posterizing correct takes. You unironically end up platforming correct takes. The expectation there is simply for the audience to react in the way that you assume they will react. But all you're doing is broadcasting the truth. Yeah, when you post this and you go, oh, they're saying like they wrote, fuck Israel and free Palestine on there. Like, that's not going to cause people to go, oh my God, how dare they say that? I mean, the people that are going to say that are already of that mindset.
F Israel, free Palestine. Meanwhile, Israel reminded the world of the hostages who were not home to celebrate Passover. Many were taken from a music festival, just like Coach.
By the way, this is precisely what I was talking about how conservatives behave, how the free speech guys behave whenever you say something that they disagree with.
18 months ago, our holiday was joyful. Today, the families of 59 hostages will sit at their table without their loved ones, who are still being held captive by Hamas in Gaza.
Dude, it's always fucking emotional blackmail, dude. Oh my God, you said fuck Israel and free Palestine. Here is unlimited emotional blackmail. Remember when October 7 happened? But this time it was at Nova Festival. Remember Nova Festival? Remember October 7? Please do not look at anything we've done since then. Please do not look at anything we've done before October 7 that might have led to October 7 happening. Do not look at any of that. Just only October 7. And don't even look at October 7 that much, because you might realize that our forces also killed a bunch of the Israeli citizens in the process. So don't look too closely to October 7 either. Just only look at October 7, but within the confines that we have designed for you to look at and consume October 7. That's literally, this is the only thing that you can say. Okay? If you resist against Israeli occupation militarily, you are anti-Semitic, you are a terrorist. If you say anything about Israeli occupation that we don't appreciate, you are anti-Semitic, you are a terrorist. God forbid you have a bad thought. If you even fucking look in the direction of Israel's actions in a way that we consider to be less than desirable, you are anti-Semitic, you are a terrorist. The words you use, if you say, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, we have decided you are a terrorist. You are anti-Semitic. And what is the point here? What are we supposed to do? It's so crazy. It's so ridiculous. I don't know if you talked about this framing before, but I had a realization. The expectation that music festivals must be apolitical in perpetuity because of 10/7 is absurd, because one, implies music festivals haven't always been political, Hendrix at Woodstock, and two, would be like telling country musicians they can't talk about guns in their songs after the 2017 Vegas festival shooting. Obviously, that's not going to happen. Yeah. It's like Nova Festival was hit on October 7th. And there were gruesome images from Nova Festival, for sure. It reminded me of festivals in America, as a matter of fact, ironically enough. You know, like the one in Vegas. It was horrifying. The difference, of course, is that that doesn't mean that like no one can say Israel is doing a genocide in any setting, let alone a festival. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
Over a year and a half in captivity, guarded by armed terrorists, hidden in underground tunnels.
Yeah, under horrific conditions, you know, evading our bombs. Might as well say your bombs because we're paying for it too.
Under horrific conditions, let our people go.
Let our people go, except not like that. Except according to Haaretz reporting, recent Haaretz reporting, Hamas once again, as they have at this point made clear 10,000 fucking times that they are willing to release all the hostages, Israel has said no again. Israelis know that Israel is the only entity ruining the negotiations process at this point. They're protesting against the Netanyahu government. And these are not guys that are like, oh, I love Palestine. I love Palestinians. I want to hug and kiss them. They're literally like, no, just let the hostages go and then you can continue the genocide. Yeah. Live updates. Netanyahu's spokesperson says hostages cannot be brought back in single phase because Hamas is demanding end to war. Wow. So it had never had anything to do with the hostages. It always was a talking point for Israel. I am shocked. If only anyone out there had been repeating that in perpetuity since October 8th. Sorry, can't bring the hostages back because they want us to stop murdering children, and we can't do that. Can't do that. Sorry, not gonna happen. Not gonna fucking happen. Anyway, let's continue.
Carly, frankly, a horrific.
They didn't want to win for their own people. They don't plan on feeding the Palestinian citizens.
How do you know that? I'm so disappointed and baffled to see someone talking about something other than October 7. And also talking about October 7 within the confines of what we consider to be acceptable. Every 5 years, conservatives get upset at Green Day for changing lyrics because they're being political. They just don't realize that like 70% of their most popular music is critical of Bush, the war on terror, Vietnam, the regular American living, absolute goobers over here that have been whining since 1997. Yeah, Rage Against the Machine, more like Rage for the Machine. That's how it is always.
Of course they don't. If they did, they would have taken all that money after all of the previous conflicts where they were given money to rebuild and all. And they would have put in electrical grids. People ran out of water within 7 days.
What are you fucking saying? What is this completely fantastical, nonsensical, ahistorical attitude here? It's just always just completely made up nonsense. Oh, the Palestinians don't want to take care of their own. Palestinians don't want to take care of their own people. It's just like, that's why Israel has to keep bombing them. Israel has to keep doing genocide. Israel has to limit the flow of goods into the Gaza Strip. Hamas is 1,000 years old, according to this fucking idiot. She said they were entrenched in not helping Palestine. Yeah. Yeah, from the Ottoman Empire all the way down to British Mandate Palestine to Israeli occupation.
Days who lived in Gaza. How do you have an entire...
Look, the thing is, they're desperate, as I've said already, and in their desperation, they're holding on to dumber and dumber nonsense, and this is all they got. I told you so. Hamas is offering to return all hostages, step down from ruling Gaza, halt production of rockets and digging tunnels, store all their weapons in locked and guarded warehouses, all in return for ending the genocide and the IDF leaving Gaza. This is a non-starter for Netanyahu. A non-starter.
Area run out of water in 7 days because you didn't have enough to begin with. I mean, Hamas, they are scourged. They are the worst. They are savages. They're not going to listen to anybody.
Savages.
Netanyahu knows. I don't know if the world has the stomach for it, but you got to take them out.
How did we get to this point, Paul? How did we get to this point in this country where that...
Great question. It's because Israel has been live streaming. Israel is engaged in a live stream genocide. Israel is doing a live stream Holocaust.
...is allowed to foment and fester and have cheers at Coachella.
It's amazing. And that's what they're willing
of all
to...
places. A music festival. Can you believe it? A musical group is engaging in the act of politics at a music festival of all places. Why won't they simply say how sad they are that Israel is forced to do a genocide? It's so fucked up. How dare they? Because that's the reality. When they say, why are you being political? Music is not supposed to be political. One, of course, music is always fucking political. That's ridiculous. And two, They simply mean, why won't you say nice things about Israel? And instead, why are you saying mean things about Israel? That's it. That's it. That's all this is. That's all this is about. Yeah. As I said here, art is not supposed to be political. Why can't they either shut the fuck up about genocide or only talk about how good Israel is? I can't believe musicians would take an anti-war and anti-genocide stance. Oh my God. Especially a music festival attended by young people who overwhelmingly are on the Israel tip. Maybe you saw already, but Ben-Gvir landed in Miami earlier today in his first trip to the U.S. since joining the government.
To say publicly. Can you imagine the backstage conversations at these things? If you brought out the head of Hamas on that stage, they were a standing ovation. That's how far things plummeted. I mean, it's just the truth. Look,
I mean, yeah, that should cause you to reconsider your stances maybe a little bit. I'm just saying, wow, these people really, these kids, they love Hamas. They can't get enough of Hamas. What is going on? What will they get? They did bring the head of Hamas. That's true. They did. They brought the head of Hamas to the festival stage. Me, Hasanabi Piker.
It is that simplistic view of the world of oppressed versus oppressor. The bottom line is Israel looks too much like America. It's no accident that they were hitting both America and Israel, this Irish band.
Yeah, what do you mean? It's because what they're saying is true. America is funding and facilitating Israel's genocide in Gaza. That's the reason why they said those things. They said those things because they're true statements that they uttered. Notice how you haven't mentioned any of the statements or tried to even tackle the veracity of the statements. You haven't offered any counter messages, and you're simply complaining that everybody loves Hamas and everybody fucking hates Israel. One must ask the question why it got to this point. Why do you think they aren't running with anti-Semitism? Everyone is saying anti-Israel and pro-Palestine, which is the correct interpretation. I don't know. Yeah, to paraphrase Will Menaker, it isn't enough that they get to do a genocide. Everyone else has to be happy about it. Yeah.
And because that's the equivalency, right?
We're one, especially with Trump in office.
They look too much like us physically, but also in terms of success.
I guess because it's Fox News, when you say anti-Israel, they're already conditioned to believe you mean like anti-Jew.
They're the only successful regime over there, and so of course they have to be the oppressors. And the other false equivalency here is that somehow or other October.
No, they are the oppressors because they're doing a genocide. Not because like everyone is jealous of how successful they are. These guys love chirping about the welfare state. And then you got the biggest welfare queens out there, Israel. And they're like, look at how glorious and successful they've been. Everyone is jealous of them.
7 is about a conflict between the Israelis and the Palestinians. No, it was between Israel and Hamas. And they never put Hamas.
Yeah. No, it's between Israel and Hamas. Remember early on in October of 2023, I told you that if they constantly present this dynamic as Israel versus Hamas, and in the focus group testing that they engage in, where the only selectable outcome is Israel versus Palestinian people or Israel versus Hamas, if you're only putting on the polls Hamas versus Israel, people are going to inevitably go, okay, yeah, I like Hamas. That's what they're going to say. That's where we're at for some people. And these guys are like, how could this have happened? It's like, I don't know, maybe because everyone, even the dumbest person, sees live streamed Holocaust and goes, that's really fucked up.
Into the equation. That's what's missing. And anybody who gets their politics from a 3-minute song deserves what they get.
Yeah, and it's also a rich irony.
What deserves what they get? As in what? Like, we're going to deport them. We'll kill you. Yeah. I'm advocating to jail you.
I mean, if they are Northern Irish, then that's the British. I mean, get out of here with that. And
of course, the pro-Israel stooge would also be pro-British Empire too. It's like, I'm on the wrong side of every issue. I'm going to always take the side of the oppressive colonists. That's how it works.
And you ask, Emily, like, how was this able to happen at Coachella? Well, of course, Coachella is for younger people, and what has been proven throughout the past few years is that the younger generation is definitely leaning towards anti-Semitism. I think anti-Semitism is...
Oh, there it is. Finally, someone had to bring up the real elephant in the room. Someone had to bring up the real elephant in the room, which is, of course, anti-Semitism.
Is really a symptom, or I guess a disease.
What's up with these fucking conservatives that have like tiny ass faces on ginormous heads? What's going on? This is the Charlie Kirk phenomena. Conservatism does something to your cranium. Why is she on this panel? Because conservatives fucking love losers, dude. That's what it is. You want to know why? You want to know why she's on this panel? Because conservatives love fucking losers who chirp. Okay? She is a straightforward loser. She's a whole ass loser. Okay? That's it. And because she couldn't take an L graciously, she has become a conservative. Democrats love losers too. They just love gracious losers, you know? Losers who lose but are still maintaining some kind of moral superiority in the process. Conservatives love whiny fucking losers.
That disease is DEI, and we see that infiltrate on college campuses all across the nation.
You can't do this. What the argument that like you know, you're somehow fighting against woke and DEI, but also, God forbid, you hurt the feelings of a fucking foreign nation that's currently doing a genocide, the live stream Holocaust. Like, what do you mean? Take a fucking stance. You can't, on the one hand, constantly fucking whine about shit that's not anti-Semitic and claim it's anti-Semitic. And we all know what that claim comes with, okay? Because that claim is not just saying something is anti-Semitic. You're demanding some kind of regulation. You're demanding some kind of managerial person to come in and say, yeah, these guys are going to get punished. That's why you're saying that this is anti-Semitic. But you can't do that. And then also sometimes be like, we need to cancel culture. We need to stop all this woke nonsense.
Even still, I've been to about 80 or so different college campuses to really mobilize and engage the youth. And I have people, you know, pro-Palestinian activists who show up to protest me. They don't know what they're protesting, but it shows you how...
I don't think you know what you're fucking protesting.
The progressivism, the activism has infiltrated into college campuses, especially. So I guess, I mean, my thing is, look, if Green Day, if Kneecap, which is a band I've never even heard of, if they want to be for the Palestinian people, then they shouldn't be anti-Israel. They should be anti-Hamas. And to see on stage a large billboard that says F Israel.
Unreal.
It's unreal. No, this didn't happen in Nazi Germany in the 1930s. This was in 2025 in America. Beyond staggering.
Well, and that's what I wanted to ask you was, how do we combat this with young people? I feel like we can see how it got here, which is the absolute, but how do we combat it now? How do we turn these young people around?
Well, I think we have to remove these
I got an idea. End the occupation, dismantle the Zionist project, create an independent Truth and Reconciliation Committee, punish all of the war criminals, and allow for a singular, secular, solitary state to exist in the area with a right to return for all Palestinians that have been forcibly removed from their ancestral lands, and also reparations paid to the Palestinians that have been pushed away from their lands. That's how you can start the process of people thinking that Israel is fine. Because the amount of war crimes, the amount of blood, death, murder that Israel has committed, the amount of unjustifiable actions that Israel has committed is not going to go away anytime soon. And it's certainly not going to go away when you're consistently defending it and refusing to stop.
Activists from these authority positions. I think that's the best word for it. We've seen these rogue activist judges. Of course, that's...
I do love that they keep showing this, though. I do. I love that they keep showing the fucking message uninterrupted.
Pretty heavily reported on. People are beginning to open their eyes, but these activists have infiltrated into academia, these large, prestigious, at one point maybe considered prestigious academic institutions. We have to remove them and, of course, reinstill the values of education. I mean, it's really as simple as that.
May I take a quick stab at that question?
Yes, ma'am.
I think you let President Trump do what he's doing. Like, he's got a broader view than just going after some of those voices on campuses and just pulling $1 billion here, $1 billion there from Harvard. What he's trying to do is set the track straight that I can see, in my opinion. He's trying to say, look, this is not right. The Jewish hate is not right. And there, by the grace of God, go we, when you're hating and wanting harm to come to some people on campus. It could be anybody you don't like. So I do see him trying to do a reset at that very ground level of young people. And I say let him cook.
You know who has to pick that gauntlet up is the Democratic Party, because this is coming from their far left.
Will they?
They have the courage to step up and identify it. It's going to continue.
Yeah. Well, up next, a new poll on Democratic leaders hits a new historic low. And now the Dems are turning on each other.
Aisle has hit an all-time low, while the party looks poised to, well, go after itself. A recent Gallup poll reveals a record low 25% of Democrats.
Nice. Do they have gains on because they think she is an inroads to college students? Maybe. How is this the most popular news network? It's because they don't stick to that stuff that much.